If you're a first-time developer, subdivision is the part of the process that can make or break your entire project. Get it right and you can unlock serious profit. But if you miss even one step, you could be stuck for months, even years, and it can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. In some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's why in this video, I'm going to break down for you step by step so you know exactly how to subdivide your land the right way without the stress and the guesswork or the costly mistakes. Over the years, my team and I have delivered more than $500 million worth of townhouse projects, and subdivision has been part of every single one of them. I've seen it done properly, and I've seen people burn months and a lot of money by cutting corners. There are 6 steps, and I'll walk you through them one by one. Let's get into it. All right, step 1. Can you actually subdivide your site? There are 4 things to check. First, neighborhood precinct. Look at nearby blocks. If similar sites have been approved recently, that means council is open to more. If none have, it usually means the rules are tighter, so make sure you tread carefully. Second, zoning and the schedule attached to that zone. Every property in Australia sits inside a zone in the planning scheme. The zone tells you broadly what can be done with the land. The schedule is like the fine print. It sets extra rules on how dense you can go and what's allowed. Third, overlays. Think of these as an extra layer of control. Heritage, significant vegetation, flood zones, bushfire risk, all of these can show up as overlays. An overlay doesn't automatically mean you can't build. It just means you might need extra reports or have stricter design requirements. And fourth, title restrictions. This is where you can check the actual title of the property. Things like covenants, easements, or agreements that sit on title and can restrict what you can build. It's one of those things beginners often overlook, and it can kill a project before it even starts. So how do you check? The easiest way is with your state's planning portal. Here in Victoria, for example, we've got VicPlan. If you're in another state, use your local equivalent or contact your council's local planner. They'll confirm your zone, your schedule, and whether any overlays apply. We also use Landchecker here in Victoria. It pulls the same information into a really user-friendly format. By the way, our free developer network has thousands of like-minded people with walkthroughs, templates to help. I'll share more later, but you can join anytime. Hit the link in the description. While you're doing this, keep an eye out for the obvious encumbrances, things that can physically or legally block your development. For example, maybe the block doesn't have room for a second crossover. That's the section of driveway where your property connects to the street. Without that extra access point, you may struggle to get an approval for another dwelling. You might also come across a big easement running through the middle or a covenant on the title that limits what you can build. Even things like large trees or a bus stop right out the front can cause big issues. These are just examples. The point is to spot anything that could restrict your options. By the end of step 1, you'll know if your site can be subdivided. This is also the point where you should check in with your key consultants, mainly your designer and your town planner. Their job is to confirm what you want to do is actually possible under the rules. Getting that confirmation early before you buy a site or start spending money is what keeps the process moving without costly delays. That's step 2, getting your team together and organising the first set of land surveys that map out your block and boundaries. And I'll show you how to set this up so you don't get smashed by delays later. Now that you know your site can be subdivided, the next move is to put the right people around you and get the first set of surveys done. The 3 people you need at this stage are your land surveyor, a designer, and a town planner. They all play different roles, but together they make sure you're not wasting months going back and forth later. If you'd rather not build the team from scratch, you can book a call with me. The booking link's in the description. Your land surveyor starts with 2 key surveys. One is the re-establishment survey. That's where they remark your exact title boundaries, so everyone is working off the right footprint. The other is your features and levels survey. That maps out the block itself. ground levels, existing buildings, trees, services, fences, everything that you need to know. Without these two surveys, your designer would be drawing blind. But with them in place, the designer can step in, sketch out your first concept plans for your subdivisions. This isn't final design work yet, but it will give you a clear idea of what can actually go on the block, and you'll be able to see it come to life for the first time. And finally, the town planner. Their job is to keep the design within the planning rules and prepare the planning permit that council will need. If the designer designs something that looks great but breaks the rules, the planner is the one who brings it back in line before it ever hits council. The key here is to have all three working in parallel. If you do them one after the other, you'll waste weeks, sometimes months. But when they're involved together from the start, you'll move forward clearly without double handling. By the end of step 2, you'll have your surveys complete, your first design concept on paper, and your planning report in draft. That's the core of what you need to take to council. Depending on your project and the council, extra reports may also be required, and your town planner is responsible for managing those. And that takes us straight into step 3. Dealing with council, lodging your town planning application and making sure you don't stall when they send back what's called an RFI. We'll touch on exactly what that means in just a moment. Nothing moves forward until you have a planning permit. Your designer's concept plans, your surveyor's drawings, and your planner's report, along with any extra reports required, are bundled into a town planning application and lodged with council. Once it's in, council will do their first assessment. Timelines vary by council and by state. The best way to check is to call your local council or look up their published averages online. This is also where most beginners hit their first roadblock, because council almost always comes back with questions. When that happens, council will send what's called a request for further information, or RFI. That's something you'll almost always get at this stage. Basically, it's council pressing pause until you give them some more information. It could be something as simple as clarifying a dimension on a plan, or as complex as requesting traffic, drainage, or an arborist report. Whatever it is, the key is not to panic. RFIs are normal. They don't mean your project is in trouble. The real mistake is letting them sit in your inbox for weeks. Every day you delay answering, your project timeline blows out. This is why having your planner and designer engaged together is so important. Your planner can respond to council in the right language, while your designer makes the design tweaks at the same time. Handled well, an RFI can be turned around quickly and keep your momentum. By the end of step 3, if you've answered council properly, they may also run an advertising process, notifying your neighbours about the development. Once that's complete and everything has run its course, you'll have your planning permit in hand. And that's the green light to move ahead with your subdivision. Now, I know that even these first 3 steps can feel like a lot. The truth is, this is exactly what my team do day in, day out. We run up to 100 projects at any given time. So if you'd rather have us handle it, hit the booking link in the description and lock in a call with me directly. Or if you'd prefer to do it yourself with support, that's exactly why we built the Little Fish Network. It's a free community with thousands of like-minded developers, full of templates, checklists, and walkthroughs. It's free forever, takes 2 minutes to join, and the link's in the description too. And that sets us up for step 4, where your surveyor prepares the plan of subdivision and lodges it with council through your state system. Once you've got your planning permit, the next step is preparing what's called the plan of subdivision. This is handled by your surveyor. They take the approved design and turn it into the official plan, the legal map that shows your new lots and their boundaries. It's what the titles office will eventually register. In Victoria, that plan gets lodged through an online system called Spear. It's the portal for subdivision applications. Other states have their own equivalents, but the principle is the same. Your surveyor submits the plan of subdivision to council for certification. This step is critical because council won't sign off until they're satisfied the plan matches the permit and ticks every technical box. If everything doesn't line up, the boundaries, the access, the easements, they'll kick it straight back. And every day it's sitting there unresolved, it's costing you money. If you've got a loan, the bank interest doesn't stop. It's compounding daily until your project moves forward. So the tighter your surveyor works with your planner and designer here, the smoother it goes. And here's where many first timers get caught out. This process usually kicks off as soon as your planning permit is issued, at the front end of your build. A lot of people assume it's something you can leave until construction is finished, but by then it's too late. These approvals can take months, which is why you need to start early. By the end of step 4, you'll have your plan of subdivision lodged and under assessment with council. That sets you up for step 5, completing the condition works council requires you to secure your statement of compliance. Council will give you a list of conditions that need to be completed before they'll sign off. This is the part most first-time developers underestimate. Conditions can include things like connecting services, upgrading driveways, building crossovers, fencing, drainage, or landscaping. Depending on your site and your council, this can be straightforward or very involved. This stage is all about execution. Your surveyor, town planner, and engineer will guide you through what's required, but ultimately, you're responsible for making sure the work gets done. If you skip something, council won't issue what's called your statement of compliance. This is one of the stages where a lot of first-time developers get stuck, and it's exactly the kind of detail we break down inside the Little Fish Network. With step-by-step guides, it's free to join, so make sure you get in there. The statement of compliance is council's confirmation that every condition has been met. Think of it as the green tick that unlocks the final step of the process. With it in hand, you're ready for step 6, lodging your titles at the titles office. That's what officially creates the new lots. From there, your next move depends on your strategy. If you've sold off the plan, you can now settle those sales, collect your profits, and roll straight into your next project. If you're holding the properties, you can then look to refinance against the new titles, maybe fund another project, or simply move in or rent them out as income. And if you've waited until completion, you can take the properties to auction or sell them on the open market. Either way, this is the point where your profit becomes real. Now it's time to lodge for title so your new lots officially exist. This step is usually handled by your solicitor or conveyancer. They'll take your statement of compliance, the plan of subdivision, your title and the paperwork, then lodge it all with the titles office. If you've got a mortgage, the bank has to sign off first. That can take some time, so start early. Once everything lines up and is approved, the title office issues the new titles and your subdivision is officially complete. Now there are a lot of moving parts here, banks, council, titles office, and it can feel overwhelming. So instead of cramming it all into this video, we've put together a step-by-step checklist that you can download, and it's free. It walks through exactly what needs to happen in order, and watch out so you don't get stuck. Just click on the link in the description and grab it. All right, so there's the full subdivision process, done the right way, step by step. We covered everything from checking if your site can be subdivided, to working with council, right through to securing new titles at the finish line. But here's the reality, watching this video is only one thing. Actually doing it is another. If you'd like more support, that's exactly why we built the Little Fish Network. It's a free property development community with thousands of developers already inside, plus templates, feasibility tools, and walkthroughs. It's free forever, takes 2 minutes to join, and the link is in the description. Or if you'd rather have my team and I handle your project from start to finish, that's exactly what we do every day. There's a link below where you can book a call with me directly, and we'll talk about your site, your goals, and what's possible. If you've got value from this video, do me a favor, smash the like and subscribe on YouTube, and drop us 5 stars on Spotify or Apple. Really helps us reach more people and keep sharing this content for free. I'm Peter Kelly, appreciate you sticking around. Until the next one, see you at the top.